Hi, everybody. Welcome to House and Home Chat, Real Estate Real Talk with Dena and Chris. I'm Chris Breitenbach.
And I'm Dena Mathis. And as we are headed into the hot, steamy summer months, we're looking to cool off here. And today we're talking about swimming pools. And we're really excited to have Ashley Arnold here with us today. She's with Aqua Tech Pools, and she's going to tell us all about how to create that backyard oasis.
Oh, and who doesn't love a backyard oasis? After that, in our Real Talk portion of our show today, we will be talking about the impact that having a pool has on your home value and your resale value. So, but let's first welcome Ashley. Ashley, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course, thank you for having me.
And we will talk a little bit about, have you talk about Aqua Tech Pools, but first tell us a little bit about you and what you do.
So I'm Ashley Arnold, and I'm part of our family's business, which my parents started, I want to say 1978.
Oh my gosh, so you've been in business that long?
Yes.
Were you a little kid out there?
Yes.
Oh wow,
yes.
Working on pools?
Well, it all started.
So it's in your blood?
It's in the blood.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the blood. But my dad started the company by building a pool for my mom when I was 2.
Oh
So actually 1980, yeah. And he just figured out how to do it. And so he built a pool for my mom, and then it just sort of started to evolve, and friends and neighbors. And
oh, that's really cool.
So that's technically when it started.
Okay.
And so it's been in our family since 1978.
Oh, that is a wonderful story, a wonderful beginning.
I know. How could you not carry on,
Right. Yes.
So do you run the pool, Aqua Tech Pools these days then?
So my mom is retired.
Okay.
She's taken more of the grandma role now. My dad is still involved, and my brother and I still work in the business together as well. So it's the 4 of us. We're brother and sister are kind of taking over.
That's great.
You will.
Yes. Oh, and you know, to me, if you're starting a family business, isn't that the goal, right?
Yeah.
Is that legacy with people who have that same love that you do?
Yes.
To keep it going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're all committed to it, and just have a lot of pride, and take a lot of pride and care in what we do, because it's our family. So.
Where is your business located?
So we're in Westchester. They started the store in a small rental space down in Mason, and then they purchased a piece of land on Route 42 in Westchester, and they built a big building. So we have a retail store there and warehouse space, and we do everything out of there. So Westchester's where we're located, and where we've been since early 90s.
That's where you find Ashley and Aqua Tech Pools.
I'm there most every day with my dog.
That's great to bring your dog to work with you. Get out there and help you dig the pools.
She does. Yeah. She helps customers on the counter mostly.
Oh, that's nice. Writes up the orders.
Yes.
Yes. Terrific. Well, let's just start with the process. How does one begin? It can be overwhelming to think that, okay, I want to put in a swimming pool, but where do I start? How does that process begin?
So it depends. Most people will call or email us, and some people have absolutely no idea of what they're looking for. Absolutely, zero starting point. Other people come in with a very clear idea of what size pool they want, what shape, and all of that.
The Pinterest people.
Yes. And now we have Pool Kings to thank as well. It's gotten a little more extravagant with the HGTV and all of that.
I think Insane Pools is on in my
Insane
house.
Pools. The first time last Saturday, my husband's like, watch this show.
Yes,
they should grotto
and budget.
Oh,
yes.
Right. So there was a koi pond the size of, I don't know, 3 swimming pools that I've ever seen. It was huge.
Yes.
But that person who hasn't done that, they're okay too.
Yes, exactly. So we try to work with, and that's a lot of times where I come in. So I have a background in interior design. So I actually moved away for about 8 years and studied interior design and did that in California. So I sort of have that space planning part of it, if you will, and that knowledge is something that I bring to kind of start to put an overall plan together. Because a lot of people can't visualize how it connects to their house or how it is going to connect to an existing patio or how they're going to get from point A to point B and how much space they need around it, furniture settings, all of that comes into
great.
play.
So you put that whole plan together.
I can, yes. And that's, more for people, we kind of meet people where they are, I would say. So we can offer drawings that get very specific, and we can, come in your backyard and literally just do the pool, and that's it. And then, and then you hire a landscaper or whoever else to finish it up. So, so we can kind of do it all, and we can, any piece and part of it we can do.
So I'm not a pool person. So share with me, actually I love pools. I don't have one.
Yeah.
Like what are their options? What, I know there's, in the real estate world, a pool's labeled as a saltwater pool, or it's labeled as I don't even know, pool with a liner. Again, I don't know a lot of those specifics. So what are people's options, and what do you specialize in?
So there's really three major types of constructions. There's in-ground pools, which are in the ground, and there's above-ground pools. And then they're
above ground.
They're above the ground.
Those are above the ground.
There are some that are, I forget the name of them, but they're sort of in the middle. So it's like an above ground pool that's half buried.
Okay.
Build a deck
I've seen that with the deck build around. Okay.
We do all in-ground pools. And then with in-ground pools, you have, there's vinyl liner, steel wall vinyl liner, which is what we specialize in. That's the only type of pool we construct.
You put in.
There's fiberglass, which is one molded piece, which actually is, brought in and sunk into the ground.
It's like a giant bathtub.
It's like a giant bathtub. Sometimes they're craned over the houses.
I've seen them on the highway, right? Where they're driving down the highway.
Exactly. A lot of times the fiberglass are a little bit more limited because they are trucked in, so you can't have them, super deep because they
can't be customized, right?
Exactly. So they tend to be a little bit more like a patio pool, if you will. Then the third type would be Gunite. So that's a concrete construction where they actually form the walls of the pool, and then they spray it with a material called Gunite, which is concrete. So those are the options in terms of the base of the construction. Fiberglass and vinyl liner are going to tend to be more comparable in price. Gunite's probably 2 to 3 times more expensive.
What makes it so expensive?
I think it's the type of construction. It's the labor intensity that goes into it. It's a much longer process. You have a lot of concrete. And you see those a lot more in Sunbelt areas like California and Arizona, Florida, where the pools don't get winterized. So you don't have that freezing and thawing like you do here. The vinyl liner is a nice option for Midwest because you do have that moving, freezing and thawing of the earth. So.
Interesting. Interesting.
So we talked about, or Chris mentioned chlorine and, as one of the types of pools, but I know you can do a saltwater or a chlorine pool. Do you do both?
We do both.
And what are the advantages of one over the other?
So salt got really popular, I would say maybe 10 years ago. So there's been different iterations of salt. So salt water, there's a lot of misconceptions about it. Some people think, well, I don't have chlorine in my pool, it's just salt. So actually what a saltwater pool is that it's salt that goes into the water, and it goes through a process where it comes out the other side as chlorine. So it's a recycled loop of taking sodium chloride, splitting it, and then it comes out the other side as chlorine. So you still have chlorine in your pool. It's just how you're getting it.
Okay.
I would say we do probably 80% of our pools are saltwater pools.
So it's really gained in popularity.
It's very popular. People like it because they don't have to handle chlorine tabs. They don't have to physically go and check a chlorinator. And if you travel a lot for work or you take a 10-day vacation, you don't have to come home to a green pool because the neighbor kid didn't remember to check the chlorinator. You still have to balance things. So in terms of, care and balancing and costs, I would say they're still pretty comparable.
Okay.
But now, post-COVID, this crazy world that we all live in, there's a chlorine shortage
That's
right
what
now.
I've heard.
Oh.
So
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
And I have a pool.
I heard it.
No idea. Oh. Is
So-
there a health benefit to the salt water?
It's funny you say that because I literally just had a woman in my store, and she was asking the same thing. So a lot of people think salt water is a little softer on your
Mhm.
hair, your skin, your bathing suits, that sort of thing. She actually said she had eczema, and the chlorine actually helps heal her skin.
Oh, well, for her.
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things. I think it's per person, but
Okay.
you know, I have heard it's easier on your hair and your skin.
The
and
one
everything.
thing that I notice is that I don't ever smell chlorine.
Yeah. Right.
So that to me is a difference, whether or not it's
Right.
beneficial to my skin or not,
Right.
or makes any kind of difference. I wonder. That's
Yes.
why I'm asking, of course.
Yeah.
But the one thing is I don't ever smell the chlorine.
Yeah, it is a softer, more of like an oasis kind of feel to the water. Yeah, and then I don't know if you've experienced this, but a lot of people, you know, think that it's gonna taste and, you know, be like the ocean water.
Oh, good
It's
point.
not.
That
It's
is
not.
good. You know what? That is a good point, and I don't know that I ever
No.
thought that.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
get asked-
no,
I
it's
get
not
asked that
ocean
question
water.
all the time. Yeah, it does not taste like the ocean.
They feel like
It's
they're
very
going to the
subtle.
ocean.
Not
Yeah,
like
exactly.
being at the beach
Right.
in the ocean water.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah.
So, in terms of, okay, I've made the decision, I'm going to put a pool in my backyard. What is the process that happens basically from start to finish?
So most of the time, well, right now what we'll do, because we with COVID, we got inundated with pool installing requests. So with everybody stuck home, we got a lot of leads. You know, a lot of people were very serious. Some people weren't. They just wanted to get out of their house. They wanted something to do. The community pool was closed. They had nowhere to go. So we, you know, pre-COVID, we would, you know, a lot of times send somebody out to look at the yard right away. That has kind of, we're backed up from that. So we try to get as much information from everybody as possible. You know, how big is your yard? What are your access points? Do you have a major slope? You know, all of these things. And then a lot of times I can look at the auditor's site to see what's going to work and kind of just do some quick measurements. So that we're saving time and being fair to everybody's time. And
Well, and I would think you would be able to do video, like walk around your backyard video chat.
Yep, that's it. Yep, and that's a really great suggestion.
Isn't that funny how things have changed?
Yes.
How, video. We show houses that way these days.
We've shown houses
We
with
sell homes
video.
that way these days. So
that's
you're right.
yes.
COVID has really evolved the way we all do business.
It really has. And even with service, I mean, we have people text us pictures so that we can see, you know, what we need, what parts, whatever. But it's the same with kind of doing a site assessment before we actually go.
So someone's serious about it, then you take it to the next step.
Right. So we'll sit down and do a quote, you know, just trying to dial in, you know, size, shape, features that they want to do, options, give them a quote. And if it seems like it makes sense, what we're doing now is we're taking a deposit for getting into our queue for the following year.
The following year, like 12 months from now?
Right. Right.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Right.
Plan ahead.
Plan ahead.
Yes. It's tough when I got an email the other day and somebody said, I want to get a pool and I want you guys to get started in July.
Can you start
Right.
tomorrow?
And so I would love to be able to do that.
July of next year.
Right.
Gotcha.
So right now we're probably into September
Okay.
of next year in terms of committed deposits.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That is fantastic.
That's good
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, it's been good. So we'll go through that and not necessarily, you know, we won't necessarily have the whole plan, every single detail dialed in, but we know that person's committed. We're going to be doing a project, you know, and then we'll work towards nailing all the details down and dialing it in.
And then you're the one that's typically working with the clients as far as the plan design goes. You mentioned the design part
from
of
the
it.
beginning, and then I have some staff too that will also help walk people through the quoting process and getting them that information, getting them signed up, and then you know, we'll go out to the yard, obviously do an assessment, finalize everything, and usually then when we start actually excavating, it's, you know, you're anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks or so.
Okay,
to get the
that
process
was my
done.
question. How long does it take to actually install the pool?
Right.
Okay.
So, and most of the time it's 3 to 4 weeks. The spring is a little harder with this kind of rain that we get, where you get a solid week of rain. We can't pour concrete and stuff like that.
Right.
And then it just depends, like, are we doing landscaping? Are we doing retaining walls? The pool goes in relatively quickly, and then it's, how much scope are we doing? Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What is that season for install then? Can you do that year round? I would assume winter months make things a little more challenging. But
They do, yeah.
when does it stop? And is there a stop to the season as far as installs go?
Yes, there usually is. We usually stop. Sometimes we go up to, maybe in like Thanksgiving.
Okay.
2 years ago, we dug our last pool Christmas Eve,
Oh,
which
my.
was very atypical, but it was very
probably
warm.
mild weather then.
Yes.
Okay.
But usually it's more like, beginning to middle of November.
Okay.
We'll stop. Because with the vinyl liner, you want it to be somewhat warm to be able to fit the liner in the pool and make sure it has a good fit and has to be stretched and stuff like that. So, and then we'll usually get started. End of February is typically when we can start excavating again after the good Cincinnati winters are over.
Great.
Well, that's a pretty long time.
Yeah,
frame.
it is.
It is, and it gives us a little, it's
You get a little bit of a
fast
break.
paced. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very fast paced. So the winter months are just our downtime to kind of take a breath and get ready for. Although lately it hasn't really been any downtime because I'll be doing permits and all of that for the following.
Oh,
season.
there's all that paperwork.
There's all
part
the
two, right? The behind the
The
scenes.
behind the
stuff.
scenes.
Yeah. So what is the most extravagant thing you've had to add to a pool or pool area? Going to that insane pools or whatever.
Oh my gosh. So 2 years ago, we were asked by a family to do a full, official size sand volleyball court.
Oh my gosh. Where do they live? I want to drive by that house.
All of their kids play sand volleyball, and they actually wanted the volleyball court, I think, more than they wanted the pool. They had the space to do it.
It was really all about the ambiance.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So we'd never done a sand volleyball court, but we know how to excavate, we know how to do proper drainage and all of that. So it was a challenge that I accepted, and we figured out how to do it. And it took, I don't know, something like 500 tons of very specialized white sand volleyball sand that we had to get shipped in. And that's probably the most extravagant thing.
So neat.
So
that needs to be
enormous.
On Extravagant Pools Cincinnati.
Yes.
It's gorgeous. It's really, really cool.
Oh,
that is so
amazing.
neat.
It was
So
cool.
neat.
That's pretty cool. So tell us a little bit more about Aqua Tech Pools. What other types of services do you provide as far as, pool installs you do, but do you have other products? Do you open and close pools? Do you have other services?
So we kind of do it all. We do openings and closings. We do service, pump, filter equipment, any kind of equipment. Repairs.
Repairs and replacement.
Obviously new construction. We provide fence installations.
Oh, wow, that too.
We come right in behind the pool, so we can get the fence right up.
Really full service there.
Yeah, we do. We have a
to
retail
finish.
store, and we test the water and let you know what you need to add and when and how and all of that. And then we do liner replacements too. So when the 10 to 15 year period where the liner starts to need a little facelift, we can pull that out and get a new one in.
Well, I have to have you look at my heater, baby, before you leave.
She'll make an appointment. We can put her on the calendar for next September.
Next September.
Service, we're a little faster on the service.
All right then.
You don't need a heater till the fall at this point. One of the things in terms of putting in a pool we didn't talk about is pricing.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's probably a huge price range.
How extravagant will you go?
Right. But what would be the beginning point, or what?
Just give us a range.
What's a good general range?
So I would say, starting out to kind of have a heater, it's things that most people are going to want. You're going to need a winter cover, things of that nature. I would say you're going to be somewhere in that 40,000 range starting out, and then it kind of just goes up from there. And we've experienced a little bit of material increases. So steel has increased, concrete has increased.
Yeah. So along with everything else, lumber and
all the construction costs have gone up significantly.
Absolutely. Yes.
So that's definitely impacted you as well.
Yes.
Then.
Yeah, we've had to, and they kind of did it in the middle. Like I said, we're already booked this far out, so we're sort of trying to ride the wave of how crazy is this market going to go with our price increases, and we don't know. So yeah,
I would imagine that when you get price increases, then that's going to affect your quotes.
It does,
pretty regularly.
Right, it does. Yeah. It does. So yeah, around 40, and then it kind of just goes up from there.
Yeah, that's great for planning purposes.
Yes.
So oftentimes, Chris and I are working with buyers who know already that they want to at some point put a pool in, and they're looking for a house that offers them the ability to do that.
Right.
What types of special considerations should we take into account when we're helping our buyers select?
A great question. So the main thing that I've personally seen and bumped into, because I do the permitting process, right? So we've had clients that have either, they've acquired a new house, they've bought a new house, they've moved in, or they've built a new house, which takes a lot of time and investment, only to find out that there is an easement in the back.
Okay.
So easements are very tricky.
Okay.
And a lot of times they are, we've had 2 people have sell that house
because they can
after
put the
they
pool
built
in?
a new house
or
bought a new house and moved because they didn't know.
That's a big deal. Well, we don't want to do that to our clients.
No, no. And I did not think about easements.
Yeah, that's not where my mind would have gone either.
Right. Yeah. Septic system, yes.
Yeah, septic is one, but usually we can work around that. There's, usually we have to be 10 feet away or so. Every county is going to have different property setbacks, just to building and zoning.
Right.
But if you have an easement and then you have a setback from that, then, sometimes you have this big, beautiful yard, and even your fence is way over there and your landscaping that you maintain is over there, and it's not. It's in the easement. You don't even know it. So usually, I can find that out on the auditor's site. Sometimes it'll be listed in the plats. Sometimes it's not. So sometimes you have to request that. So when people are looking at to buy a house, I always tell them, check with the county. Make sure you get your plat. Make sure you know really how much space you actually have. Because it's such a bummer when that happens.
That's a great tip.
That would be such a disappointment.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine those poor clients that had to sell their home after building a new home.
Yes. Because a lot of people build or buy a house and they know they want to do a pool. So, it's something that I think could be easily prevented, hopefully.
Yeah, we definitely will do our part.
It's just the knowledge, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the knowledge,
right,
of what to look for.
And most people just, I would have never thought to, think of that.
To think about it.
Yeah, so that's probably the biggest thing. But slope is kind of another thing. I mean, we don't need a yard that's board flat. That's usually not ideal, but a little bit of slope is good. If you get into a yard where it's really sloped, there's going to be a lot more costs associated with the pool, because you're going to need some type of retaining wall,
That makes sense.
Sometimes that's a deterrent because, you spend $20,000 or so on a retaining wall. That's half the pool.
That's going to add,
add
to the pool and add to the cost, the overall cost.
And access points are a big one as well.
Okay.
So usually we need about 10 to 12 feet to get a backhoe around. So sometimes these houses get a little tight and there's no way to get back there.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That's another.
Haul it
catapult, catapult over.
We're pretty good, but we're not that good.
And another, as creative as you have to be, again, that adds to cost.
Right.
It can, yes, exactly.
I
Different equipment required.
Yeah, that and feasibility. Is there anything we've missed that we should have asked you?
I can't think of anything. Gosh, I'll probably think of 10 things.
Us too.
Yeah.
No, it's a good time to have a pool because of, I think that this past year and a half has changed the dynamic of what how everybody views their home and and their family life, and it's just really, I think, brought a lot into focus. So we've seen that, and it's been really cool to give people, you know, spaces where they're comfortable, where they can make memories for, you know, kids, grandkids, you name it.
There's valuing that family that people have sort of come back to, and not so much the socialization, I think, with, you know, all the random, but it's really come back to family. So most definitely. And we love that you're so busy, but you all heard it here. If you are interested in a pool, you better call Ashley, text Ashley, email Ashley, come into the store and book it for just about a year and a half.
A year,
a year and a half out. So, but I'm, you know, glad to know that you've got a lot of other services, and you've got a lot of other things to offer. So we love hearing that.
Yes, we try to take care of our customer base. You know, sometimes you'll find companies that'll build the pool, but then there's
the
no follow up, right? So it's kind of, we're there for the duration of whatever the pool's going to need. So it's kind of a long-term relationship. We try to look at it that way. And
and you've got such a history with pools. We love your backstory. And we love that you're right around here, and actually I can just pop right in and see you anytime I want.
5 minutes.
Terrific.
So Ashley, thank you so much. And our small business shout out this week is to Aqua Tech Pools. And so give Ashley, reach out to her, and you can get the whole process started. Ashley, one more time, where is it that they can find you guys?
So we're on Route 42, 8717 Cincinnati Columbus Road. We are between Butler Warren and Cox Road.
Perfect.
Right in Westchester.
Terrific.
Easy to find them. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Ashley.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Sure.
Oh, and again, thank you, Ashley Arnold with Aqua Tech Pools, for joining us today. We really appreciate your guidance on the whole pool process and the wonderful benefits of having a pool in your backyard.
Absolutely. But, you know, it would be better if it was a sunny day. We could actually take a dip in the pool.
Yes, that would be a good day.
Absolutely. Well, maybe next time. Maybe tomorrow, Chris.
There we go.
Well, switching gears, just shifting just a little bit into the real talk portion of our program. We're going to be talking about those swimming pools that you've installed in your backyard, and actually whether or not it's a good idea as far as your resale goes. So just to share some local facts, Chris, looking in the Cincinnati MLS today, there are actually roughly 40 homes on the market that have an in-ground swimming pool. Those are, active listings.
So if you want one and you don't want to build it, there's 40 out there today.
40 to choose from, exactly.
Probably not by the time you see this.
There are several that are also in the coming soon range, and then there are several that have sold. So including the coming soon and the solds, there were about 150 actually homes that have sold in the last 6 months, or that are coming, you know, shortly, or that are currently active on the market. And those homes range anywhere from about $150,000 to $6.4 million.
Well, and how nice to know, right, that in a reasonable price range or a more affordable price range, you can still find these beautiful features and benefits in our Cincinnati market.
Yeah, exactly. And so what that shows us is that no matter what your price range is, right, if you're looking at a $200,000 home, or if you're looking at $1 million home or beyond, there's an affordability there. And these pools range obviously in size and features and whatnot, but it's something that everyone can enjoy.
Yeah, excellent. In terms of adding your own pool, one of the things that we have found is it could increase the value of your home. According to HGTV, that percent might raise your sales price about 5 to 8%. You know, obviously there's a lot that goes into it, but it is something that you would get a benefit of resale out of it too. But I think more importantly is that lifestyle.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the first question, you know, when people often ask us, should we make certain upgrades to our homes and should we put that pool in? Is it going to add value? One of the first questions we always go back to is, how long do you plan to be in your home? So that's a pretty critical factor as far as resale goes, I believe. And I don't know, I'm going to give that same answer that I always do. What about you?
Yeah, and I think especially for a feature like a pool, it's important to ask the question not only how long are you going to be in the home, but what is the value to you? Right. If you love to spend all of your time outside sitting at a pool, then certainly that's the direction you want to go. So it's what quality of life is it going to add to you, and how much are you going to enjoy it? And in terms of adding that resale value and getting your money out of it, that's where that 5-year plan comes in.
Exactly. If you're planning to be there less than 5 years, you think you've got to move on the horizon in the next 2 to 3, then it probably isn't going to be an investment that may be worth your dollars. But again, as Chris said, it's a lifestyle thing. And if that's where you want to put your money, and that's the lifestyle that is going to bring you that joy in the next 3 years, then, you know, I say go for it, right?
Right. And, you know, I think over the past year, that lifestyle has changed. There are people who perhaps have not taken a vacation this year or last year because COVID restricted our travel plans. And so maybe that's giving you the funds to invest otherwise, or the different thought process of, hey, I don't need to go to the beach. Why don't I put that money into putting a pool in my backyard, and we can enjoy it for a much longer period of time.
Yeah. I think you hit the nail right on the head. I think in the last year and a half here, COVID really changed how people view backyard swimming pools.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we were confined to our homes, and people were, I've never seen so many people out there on social media and or asking me, because we have a pool, who put our pool in. Everybody was wanting a pool. And COVID really did change that, because at one point, you know, when I started in real estate about 15 years ago, pools were not going to give you the resale benefit. And it was actually much more difficult, I think, at a time in the market in the Cincinnati area to sell a home with a pool. It was seen as a little bit more of a negative, whereas now I think COVID has definitely changed that.
Yeah, I've seen that quite a bit. So one of the things I did in the past week was ask people why they put in their pool, and I seem to be getting a little bit of a consistent answer. One of the answers was somebody went to a pool party at one of their neighbor's house, and they just fell in love with the idea of having a pool to play with their kids with.
That's great. They had so much fun. They went home and put that pool
in.
They
went home and put that pool in, and trust me, it is beautiful.
That must have been some party.
It was before I lived in the neighborhood, but
it's one of your neighbors.
One of my neighbors.
So you get to enjoy that pool too.
Yeah. Nice. Well, yeah. Nice. That would require putting on a bathing suit that I don't own. And I did ask somebody else too, and their answer was very, very similar.
Okay.
Their answer was they want to be the house that the kids gather at. And so it's like, not that they want to hover over their children, but they just wanted to be the house that the kids wanted to come to.
That. Yeah.
And so having a media room in the basement and having that built-in pool kind of covers the whole year.
Everybody just congregated to their home. I don't know, that can be good or bad, but
so Dena,
they saw that as a benefit, huh?
Yeah. I'm going to put you on the spot, because you have a lovely backyard area. You have a lovely pool.
We've really enjoyed it.
Yeah. What was the reason that you put in your pool?
Oh gosh. So we put in our pool, this will be our 5th summer, and my son was turning 10 at the time. And I'll tell you, when we first built our home here in this neighborhood, it is a pool community. So at that time, almost 20 years ago, pool community was very appealing to us as, you know, starting our families, a young couple looking forward to starting our families. I think more of that socialization for your child, getting out, getting them into the community, finding friends and play dates for them at a community pool was really important. But once he was getting older, and 10, 11, as we know, we're heading into the teenage years, it was really more about him and his own friendships. And again, having those friends at our home. So yeah, I'm on the same page, I think, with some of the other comments that you got. Just having friends at our house, knowing where he is, being able to invite friends over, and really just enjoy ourselves in the comfort of our own home.
Yeah, love that. Love that. I know we have talked about in my house getting a pool, and we are past that stage of having the kids at the house. And I'll be honest, we would do it now just for the relaxation and the privacy of not having to go up to that community pool. And really just being able, especially with working from home now, just being able to take an hour and sit out back by the pool and cool off, rather than having to even walk down the street 10 houses.
Relax with a book, or, you know, have yourself a drink. I like to just sit in the pool on my little ledge. I don't even get wet. It's just a little, you know, feet dip, right?
That to me is all I need.
So anyway, we really loved having Ashley here today. Got a lot of great insight from her. So you'll want to reach out to Ashley Arnold of Aqua Tech Pools for all of your pool buying needs.
And if you are not interested in building your own pool and want to, us to help you start looking for a home that fits your needs and has a pool, then just reach out to us, and we will be more than happy to help you with that too.
Exactly. Like we said, 41 pools on the market here, active in the Cincinnati area in all price ranges. So we can certainly accommodate those needs for you. So thanks for joining us today. Next week, we actually have kind of a special treat. A fun treat. So as Chris and I have mentioned here over time, that house and home extends to the community for us. It's not just about the four walls that we live in. And next week, we're super excited to be shooting from the Panayiti Greek Festival, where we will be sharing with you all of the wonderful treats, the food, the culture of that community. It's a big festival here in the summer. And unfortunately, last year it got canceled because of COVID. This year, they're not full force in as the festival, but it's more of a Panayiti to go. So you have the ability to order online at panayiti.com. You order the specific menu items that you want, and then you'll have a designated pickup time. So we will be shooting from there and telling you all about it.
Yes, and I'm looking forward to one of those awesome, famous gyros.
Yes, so, absolutely.
Until then, thank you for joining us on House and Home Chat, Real Estate Real Talk with Dena and Chris. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.